You're listening to the Beyond Mommy Dearest podcast, where we talk about growing up with narcissistic moms, how it shapes your nervous system, your relationships, and your sense of self, and how to heal without shame. I'm your host, Nolani Pearl Hernandez.
This episode is sponsored by the Happy Cannabis, body products designed to help you on your healing journey by supporting your nervous system with every application.
Today I'm joined by Lydia, an artist, TEDx speaker, and coach for daughters of narcissistic mothers. Her story of healing through art, boundaries, and reclaiming her authentic self is one every survivor needs to hear. Lydia, thank you so much for being here. I'm so excited. We are on we're on two totally different time zones, two totally different hemispheres, two totally different seasons. So Lydia is in Perth, Australia, and I'm out here in California. It is winter there, summer here, and it is morning there and nighttime for us. So I'm really excited that we were able to connect.
Totally.
And I'm I was drawn to some of the things that you were doing because you were calling out uh, narcissistic mothers. And I thought that was really important, being a daughter of a narcissistic mother myself. So, for our listeners who are just meeting you, can you tell me a little bit about your story and then what led you from London then to Australia and all that fun stuff?
Definitely. I'm so excited to be here as well. And these stories are so important to share. And what a blessing it is to have this conversation with yourself. Like when we have experienced such a complex trauma,
Mhm.
it's so refreshing and wonderful to share that with somebody who just knows it. So
Mhm.
you're not translating so much nuance or energy into it, you just
Mhm.
get it.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
I grew up in the UK in the countryside. My mum is English and my dad was absent. He left her before I was born. He's from occupied Palestine. So I grew up essentially being the brown girl that nobody acknowledged, right?
Yes. Yes.
Hard relate. Like
Mhm.
this little brown girl with my mum's very, very pale blonde hair and just feeling like an alien. Like, what am I
Mhm.
doing here long? And I remember at like 4 or 5 asking her if I was adopted, just essentially because nothing felt right in that family
Mhm.
unit.
Mhm.
Nothing, nothing fit. So I grew up with her and my grandparents. She had just such a series of boyfriends, boyfriend after boyfriend after boyfriend, and I knew that I was never her priority. I was
Mhm.
her burden. So really, I just felt like I shouldn't really exist because I
Mhm.
knew that in her mind, this person, her mini me at that stage, was
Mhm.
holding
Mhm.
her back, was maybe
Mhm.
preventing her from meeting the one. So I was left so much in the home, and my mum would go and date all of these men all of the time, and so the emotional neglect was huge. Another element to this is the generational narcissism. So my
Mhm.
grandmother, surprise, surprise, grandmother also a narcissist.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah, so growing up in that environment, luckily I had my grandpa there at the time who was really incredible, but
Mhm.
it was incredibly dysfunctional. My grandmother was like alcoholic, she would be
Mhm.
extremely abusive. My mom essentially, although she was 30 when she had me, the stories that I tell would make her sound like she was a teenage mom. Like she had no
Yeah.
no responsibility at
Yeah.
all. She's like, into her 40s, having her boyfriend stay at my grandparents' house. It like it doesn't make sense. So luckily I had my grandpa. Unfortunately, he passed when I was 16, and that was so difficult because that was the only person I had in the world who had
Mhm.
left. And from my mum's side, the question was, why was I upset? Because she was like the favorite. And so she was actually jealous of my relationship with my grandfather, who was
Mhm.
essentially like my pseudo father.
Mm-hmm.
My mom also was hypersexual, and this is
Mm-hmm.
something like when when your mother doesn't hold any shame,
Mm-hmm.
somehow you hold all the shame. So
Mm-hmm.
her sexual behavior, which was so overt,
Mm-hmm.
so in my face,
Mm-hmm.
all of these different men was just so difficult to process because it was way before my
Because
comprehension
you
of what
were a
I
child.
was a child,
That's
right? I
like
was a child.
like that doesn't even come into to play, and very, very common for narcissistic mothers. Like
Mhm.
it's that enmeshment, right? So please continue.
Yeah, so I remember even like having memories of sitting in my mother's room as she was putting her makeup on and her rollers and her
Mm-hmm.
suspenders and
Mm-hmm.
her knickers on top. So
Mm-hmm.
all routine that was extremely sexually overt, listening to Marvin Gaye. And so I was watching
Mm-hmm.
her in this ritual before she went out. And I'm 6 years old, 7 years old. Like, no child needs to see that. She would also have me sleeping in her bed, and then she would use my own bedroom to have the men in her. She would
Ugh,
use
gross.
yeah, yeah. There was one time where then I was older, I was sleeping in my bedroom and I had a brand new mattress delivered that day. And this day I went and had a sleepover at a friend's house. I think I was around 16. I came home the following day and her shoes were in my room. And so I said, "Why are your shoes in my room?" And then she just laughed. So the transgression of boundaries, but the
Yeah.
sexual behavior, I think, is so difficult for us to process because,
Yeah.
like, I held the shame for that. That feels so
Right.
shameful. And
Right.
for some reason, it lives in my body because somebody needs to pick up that behavior and that shame.
Right. Right.
So
Yeah.
fast forward to 17 or 18. I had a really brilliant boyfriend. He was wonderful. And I used to go and spend time at his home with his family. And I
Mm-hmm.
remember just being so jealous of their
Mm-hmm.
family unit. There was no shouting, there was no screaming.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody seemed to love and respect each other. And I remember like just kind of wanting to go there and flip the dining table.
Yeah.
I wanted to like mess it up. Like, how
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
I think you also realize when you're in another environment how toxic yours is, how
Oh,
dysfunctional yours is.
yes. Yes.
Not
Mm-hmm.
until you spend time in those other environments that you truly, truly realize that. So he was just a great guy, like my first serious relationship. And I remember my mum would like be flirty with him,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
she would she would like look at him and say like, "Oh, isn't Lydia beautiful?" But what she was really doing is I wasn't an individual person, right? I
Mm-hmm.
was belonged to her.
Enmeshed. Yeah.
Right. And so what she was really asking him was, "Aren't I
Aren't
beautiful?"
I beautiful? Ugh, barf. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so this weird kind of flirting that was happening with my own boyfriend. Another element that I really want to speak about is how I was the object and the handbag and the accessory
Mm-hmm.
to her in social environments and social situations. Everything was about how I came off, how I
Mm-hmm.
looked,
Mm-hmm.
how I reflected her. And so I
Mm-hmm.
remember us going to like parties or social situations and then entering the car afterwards, she would kind of grill me on my behavior. Or I should have said this, or when somebody said this, I should have said that. So
Mm-hmm.
that was the dynamic in childhood. Something really particular happened when I hit puberty because I was no longer her object. I was her
Mm-hmm.
direct competition.
Yes.
Oh, that's a lot. Like that is a lot to deal with because
Yeah.
the dynamic just totally shifted.
Yeah.
And I remember us going on this holiday, just her and I, to Tunisia. And I feel like I was around 15, 16. And this hotel manager, Tunisian man, came and spoke with my mom and myself and was quite flirty. And we'd been on holidays before, and my mum would meet these men and she would kind of go off with them and leave me in the
Mm-hmm.
hotel. So, like, this wasn't new for me, but my
Right.
expectation he was interested in her. After the interaction with him, she looked really like upset and she said, I can't believe it, but he's interested in you. It wasn't me.
Ew.
So it's just
Ew.
really hard to processing
Yeah.
this, even just speaking about it today. So I'm
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
11 years no contact, but just like the processing these conversations that happened is wild. So
Yes.
fast forward to around 18, I knew I needed to leave. Like I knew
Hmm.
I needed to get out. I was applying for different art schools in London. So I grew up in Bristol. London's about 3 hours away.
Hmm.
And my mum was really upset about me wanting to leave, and it was
Hmm.
about why couldn't I just study in the same city and live at home,
Hmm.
etc. But something in me was like, no, girl, you gotta go. You
Hmm. Hmm.
so I got into this particular art school, and like it's quite a renowned one. So um, I should have felt pleased, but she seemed to be annoyed that I was leaving.
Yeah.
And so even down to traveling to go and move to London, she made sure that when my uncle took me and she joined, it wasn't about me moving into my own place. She'd set up
Hmm.
an internet date with a man. So even that day meant that all of us had to go and meet this man that she had an
Ew,
internet date.
gross. That's so gross. That's so
I
gross.
wasn't allowed just one
Yeah.
day. What
Yeah,
was
that's so gross.
it?
That's so gross.
The dynamic kind of shifted after I left, and I wanted to come and visit her, and I
Yeah.
was told, no, it doesn't work for me actually. I'm having a date, so you can't come back on this particular date, which again is wild because my friends would like go back and surprise
They
their
wouldn't
parents.
even call, right? They would just go, oh, I'm here. Oh, awesome.
Yeah,
Great. Come on in.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember I did visit once, and in my room it was full of her clothes in the wardrobe, and there was no space for me anymore. So in her head, once I had
Mhm.
gone, it was like her
That
life.
was it. Yeah.
That was the conversations that we would have on the phone would be one way. She would
Hmm.
be wanting all of her needs met through me. Somehow I
Hmm.
was the unpaid therapist. Somehow I was the person that there for her. So there's like no comprehension that her 18-year-old daughter had left, gone to study, was like living by herself, independent, probably could do with some support. No, it was about her.
Hmm.
And like the conditioning that I had was so strong that
Hmm.
I started to study in this institution, and I was scanning the environment for potential partners for my mother.
Hmm.
I there for me. Not
Hmm.
like the programming was so intense.
Yeah. Yeah.
So so crazy. And so as time went on, there would be conflict in our conversations.
Hmm.
And I remember I continued to study, and there was times where we would go no contact and I couldn't even deal with her. There was
Hmm.
times where she would leave me voice notes that were so vicious and venomous that it
Hmm.
sounded like she was even uh, possessed, quite
Hmm.
honestly.
Yep.
So I remember I completed my 3 years at art school. I went to my graduation by myself.
Hmm.
No, nobody was there, but I knew, do you know what? I'm going to do this for myself. So I went to the
Yeah.
graduation. Then I did a lot of traveling, and then I started my master's degree. This was still in London. And at this time, she'd met a man who became her husband. And so he came in like Big Daddy. Bearing in mind, I'm 24, 25. I don't need Big
Yeah.
Daddy. I'm
Yeah.
not.
Okay,
But
thanks.
he really wanted to. We were on and off at this point, my mother and I, but
Yeah.
pull everybody together and play this
Yeah.
big happy
Be
family.
one happy family. Yeah.
Right. So we actually paid for my master's, which was, a blessing, but it came with
Yeah.
a lot of
A
ties.
lot of strings. Yep.
Right. So the ties were that I needed to meet him and go for dinner with him. And there was some weird stuff happening there. So he would tell me, you can't tell your mum we've come to this restaurant because she really wants to come to this restaurant. So we must keep that quiet. He would hug me for way too long. And he would say things like, oh, it's so funny. You're like a dark version of your mother.
Ew. Ew. On
Mhm.
so many levels, ew.
Right. And but I needed to play the game. The man's paying for
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
And so what happened was there was a time where she had called me and said, look, I've moved into this new home. I really want you to come and visit. I would love you to come and visit and just stay for the weekend and I'll cook for you and all of these wonderful things. So this was her home with her new husband. And so it was a train journey away from London.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
80% of me was like, this is a bad idea. Like, this is
Yeah.
a really
Yeah.
bad idea.
Yeah.
20% wanted her mother, wanted
Yeah.
a mother, wanted
Yeah.
a
Wanted the
mother
mother you
rather than
imagined. Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
right, 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 right. So that 20% led me to go and stay. And so it was a train journey. I didn't have a car. I lived in London. I spent 24 hours there before it started to feel really weird.
Hmm.
And he was getting really aggressive and then just stormed out of the house. And I remember saying to her, what are you doing? Because she came into the room. It was too late for me to leave, but I wanted to go. And she grabbed a coat and she said, oh, I'm going to go and find him. So she came back 20 minutes later. She came into the bedroom, sat on the bed with me, and that was a transgression already because I
Yeah.
wasn't
Yeah.
what you've just said, sat on the bed with
Yeah.
me. She
Yeah.
put her hand on me. She said, it's okay, Lydia. Um, you upset him, but that's okay. He thought that you were ignoring you. He thought that you were ignoring him. And I can tell you, like, there was so much rage that came up,
Hmm. Yep.
so much. And I went out into the landing and he stood there with the breath stinking of alcohol. And I looked at him and I said, what is your problem? And then he just went off. You are disgusting. Why would any man look at you? All that money I spent on you and you're worthless. You're absolutely worthless. You're going to make nothing of yourself. Look at you. You're pitiful. You're disgusting. You're worthless. At the same time, my mum has stood there watching and allowing this man to say all of these,
Horrible things. Ugh.
not even things that I could say to my worst enemy. And
No.
so, right, so I stood there. He said all of these things. She told me to go downstairs. I went downstairs and I listened to them. And she said, sorry, he said, she's going to break us up. And my mum replied, no, we're too strong for that. So they were using me as this,
Yeah, they triangulated you. Yeah.
yeah, it was, it was.
That's
And
sick.
right,
That's
right, it's
sick.
so sick, so sick. So I'm so grateful I listened. I
Yeah.
listened to listen to each other. I had to stay there that night. There was no
Hmm.
Uber, nothing. I'm in, up nowhere.
Yeah.
And, and the next morning, she didn't talk to me. She drove me to the train station. And I remember her being shorter than me at this point, which is such a strong memory that this person that would
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
violently
Huge.
scary,
Right.
and all of a sudden she's shorter than me. And I looked her straight in the eyes and I said, you will never, ever see me again. You will never see me again. I got on
Hmm.
that train and I have this selfie to this day. And there's this beam of light that is coming through it's like the sky, right? Going
Yeah.
straight into
Yeah.
crying, and this beam is coming through. And I got back to where I was living. I put my hands on the ground on the tarmac and was just so grateful
Hmm.
to never have to deal with that again. And
Hmm.
then what happened was I had something called a Kundalini awakening. It's a spiritual awakening.
Hmm.
And so
Hmm.
you can get these from like intense meditation or
Hmm.
inner work
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
or severe trauma. And
Hmm.
right, we can call this severe trauma. And
Yeah, absolutely.
right. And so what happened was it was like there's so many realizations through my body.
Hmm.
And I observed that this voice that I had lived with all my life that also told me I was worthless, I was ugly,
Hmm.
that
Hmm.
I was a piece of shit, I was all of these things. And
All those things. Yeah.
that's not my voice. That's my mother's voice.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what?
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
oh,
What?
this,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
is not me.
Yep.
So I can tell you that was the best decision of my life. She
Yeah.
didn't give up. She began stalking me. So I would have art shows. She would threaten to turn up. She one time did turn up. So she would have traveled 3 hours, turned up, and I looked at her and I said, "What are you doing here?" She laughed, she smiled, she said, "I just came here to see the art." Ha 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 ha.
Oh,
Right?
rude.
Right. And this
Weirdo. What a weirdo.
right. And this the MO was, you can never escape me. I'm always going to be
Right.
here. You
Right.
can travel as far as you want, but hello,
Yeah.
here I am.
Yeah.
And it was a room full of people. I put my hands on her shoulders again, feeling like noticing her height
Yeah.
compared.
Yeah.
Hands on her shoulder, pushed her, spun her, and said, "Get the fuck out of here."
Out of
And
here.
she
Mm-hmm.
so um I ended up leaving the UK and leaving London, and it was truly through the spiritual awakening as well, where I just knew that this place was not for me. I
Mm-hmm.
needed to go and truly be around like-minded people. And I guess
Mm-hmm.
I also knew that I really needed to go and heal.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a friend at the time who had just moved to Bali. And I remember sitting on the sofa, I had a pendulum. So at this point, I was tarot reading, I was connecting
Mm-hmm.
with
Mm-hmm.
extraterrestrials, all of these spiritual gifts just totally unlocked. I'm sat with this pendulum. So a pendulum is a weight on a chain, and
Yeah.
it will go
Right. Yeah.
on my, should I go to Bali? And it just spun. Yes. Okay, cool. So within months,
Yeah.
my
Oh,
backpack is on.
awesome. I love it.
My room is sublet. I'm out of there. And so then became just a series of synchronicities and moments in which I fully trusted myself. So I'd
Mm-hmm.
say at this point, I began to cultivate a relationship with myself, a deep relationship with
Yep.
myself, and
Yeah.
trust in the unseen realm, trust in the
Mm-hmm.
universe, trust that I am
Mm-hmm.
actually being supported beyond my own knowledge. So I'm here in Bali, and I'm in this tree house in deep in the jungle in a women's circle, and that was a whole new thing to be in
Mm-hmm.
an environment with women.
Supportive women, right?
Like I had
Totally different. Mm-hmm.
streams of tears because you're so programmed to trust no one, and
Yep.
especially not.
Not women. Yep.
Right. So I'm in this tree house in this group meditation, and the meditation leader is leading us over this earth. So she's saying, like, you're traveling and you're flying over this particular earth. What can you see beneath you? And for me, I saw mounds and mounds of red earth.
Mm-hmm.
And I said to my friend who was from Australia, "That's so weird. I just saw loads of red earth." And she said, "I think you need to go to Central Australia." The signs continued. So
Yes.
I,
Wow.
right, so I would like pick up playing cards that would translate to tarot cards, and it was
Yep.
about going into the unknown and just trusting. So
Mm-hmm.
I did. I went from Bali to Australia, and I went to Central Australia.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't tell you what this place did for me
Mm-hmm.
and the potency of that
Mm-hmm.
land, and to be in an environment with the indigenous people of that land.
Mm-hmm.
It
Mm-hmm.
busts through any kind of matrix programming that you may have.
Mm-hmm.
So, with everything that I learned from my own upbringing and how I processed everything, which was through art, art was always my way of processing, channeling my emotions, making sense of the world around me.
Mm-hmm.
I worked with youth living in Aboriginal communities, very similar to Native communities, Native American communities, that
I love
the
that.
economical issues are
Yep.
exactly the same.
Yep.
So this is
Yep. Yep.
colonization has produced.
Yep. Yes.
So I worked within these youth organizations, and these organizations were set up to keep kids engaged, but they were not
Mm-hmm.
set up for women. And the domestic violence rates in these communities for women
Mm-hmm.
are unreal.
Mm-hmm.
The stats are, if you are a Indigenous woman, you are 35 times more likely to be a victim of
Mm-hmm.
domestic abuse than a non-Aboriginal. 35 times more likely.
That's
It's
crazy.
right, it's insane. And again, such a parallel with Native American
Mm-hmm.
scenarios.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I worked in these environments, really high trauma, high high social
Mm-hmm.
issues. And I knew that what can really benefit these young women at such a young age, we're looking at like formative ages of 12, 13, 14, 15,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
is is creating artwork, because I know from my own experience it builds self-esteem, it builds self-trust,
Mm-hmm.
it allows you to process all of your emotions, your feelings. And I knew that this is what these young people needed. So I began Girls on Country, which is a program that I still run today, working in these Indigenous communities where the girls work together as a group and they create artwork. Sometimes it's videos, sometimes it's
I love it.
um, fashion projects, all different things, but they're the
Mm-hmm.
ones that lead it. And I can't help but feel like that's making lemonade from lemons, right? I think
It absolutely is.
we go through
Yeah.
these experiences and we have these knowledge, this knowledge and understanding and deep empathy. Like I am, there's not one judgmental bone in my body, and I
Mm-hmm.
can't help but think that that also comes from our upbringings, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
that's the deep empathy is when you've gone to the darkest
Depths of
places.
hell. Yep.
Depths of hell.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was a suicidal child, and I'd look at the window and consider jumping out of it at 7 years old.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh hell.
Yeah.
And be able to sit around people that are also experiencing high trauma and being able to understand deeply, but know that there's also these tools and
Mm-hmm.
ways to be able to climb up the depths of hell
Yep.
is such a blessing. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, I began Girls on Country years ago, and I've done a TEDx talk about how art is a way to process your emotions and engage with your inner world. And currently, I'm now working one-on-one with women who are daughters of narcissistic mothers. And like I said, it's a particular flavor.
It,
No,
yeah, it is.
nobody knows. Like
Yeah.
nobody can really
Yeah.
understand.
Like, I'm not shocked by anything that you've just said.
Right.
Nothing. Like, I'm like, of course she did. Right. Of course that happened. Yes, of course that happened. And I think that that is one thing that I say all the time is when we're looking based on my experience, when we're looking at women or men who have experienced this narcissistic abuse and it comes from a maternal figure, that therapy is really important to heal and especially with someone who specializes in narcissistic abuse, because it's like you said, a certain flavor, because most therapists won't understand it. Like, why are
Don't.
you so internally ripping yourself apart? And to
Yeah.
work with a coach so you could get that forward motion.
Right.
And the
Yeah.
work that we've developed, my husband and I have developed into working with executive coaches, are working with executives to coach them through their normal traumas are
Mhm.
coming through. So working them through those traumas so they can then communicate with the people that they work with. Then doing this high conflict mediation. It's like we dove right into this high trauma work and then working with daughters who just like when you were saying all the things that you say to yourself, I was like, oh my God, that's exactly what is in my head all the time. And that moment of, oh my God, I remember just recently my husband and I were talking about something. I can't remember what it was. And God bless him for like his patience, his love, like I always say, he saved me. My daughter gave me this reason to live, very much like the art for you, the work that you were doing with Girls on Country.
that my daughter was that person. She went with me to university when I was at Santa Clara, and she would look through the glass wall, the glass window, say hi, and come into the classroom. She gave me that reason to live. And my husband saved me. And we were sitting on the couch, we were talking about something, and I just automatically said something. And I very rarely go into those automatic responses, but when I do, they're pretty brutal. And I went into an automatic response of myself, and my husband was like, hold on, wait a second. Like, let's assess this. And I was like, oh my God, that was an automatic response. And all of a sudden, like, this weight just came off of me. I was like, I'm not that person. I'm not that person. I'm not that person and I'm turning 50 next year. For 50 years, this woman has haunted me, and she's tiny. She's 4'10". Just a little thing. I'm 5'1", so I'm not much taller, but she's tinier than I am. And she has haunted me way too long. And, we've helped so many women. Like, we had a woman who recently we worked with, and she's like, I call my mother on the way to work, on the way home from work. And I was all, okay, so how's work? Oh, work was horrible. And how was, when she got home? Oh, it was horrible. I said, why don't you try a week without calling her? Don't call her. And she said, I've had the most productive week at work. It was so amazing. I came home, my husband and I connected. We had a beautiful time. I said, well, why don't you do it a little bit longer? Because with that coaching, we understand all of the family systems, but we also want you to work towards that forward goal. And so it is so important because, and I have never heard someone, just so you know, explain that competition, that overt sexuality. Like, I remember going with I just had this discussion with my husband. I said, I remember being, about 20, I was working and going to school. My daughter was 2, and my mom came to visit me at work, and she flirted with every available male there.
Yes.
I never brought her to my work again. I was like, nope, not happening. She's not coming in. It's not happening. Every single person that I was like, this is disgusting. Why are you doing this?
It's embarrassing. And again, we hold the shame.
Yes. And and I felt it. I was like, oh my God, why is this woman doing this? I was so ashamed of that. And it was like that you are, out of all the women that I've talked to in this work that I've been doing with the podcast, are the first woman who put the pin on it.
Taking a quick break from our podcast to let you know about today's sponsors. Feeling overwhelmed by anxiety? Does it have you overthinking, second-guessing yourself, or constantly on edge? Meet Eye Care, a 14-day experience designed to help you understand your anxiety patterns and practice simple, evidence-based tools that fit into real life. Each day includes a quick exercise, practical insights, and AI-guided reflection. Start your free 3-day trial at icare.app to discover a different way to work with anxiety, helping you build greater calm and confidence day by day. If perimenopause has your muscles aching, your stress levels climbing, or your nervous system feeling like it's working overtime, check out the Happy Cannabis. Their THC-free, plant-powered CBD body oils, sugar scrubs, and goat milk soaps are designed to support everyday wellness and help you unwind naturally. Use code BMD20 to save 20% on your order and give your body a little extra love. And now back to our episode.
Because that's a very special thing when it comes to, because that's the histrionic part of it. Like, my mom was a covert narcissist, but she had that histrionic tendencies where she was over sexualizing everything that was going on. And I've gotten a lot of malignant narcissists that I've listened to or worked with women. They've had malignant narcissists or the covert narcissist, but nothing like this, because it's a very special flavor of woman.
It truly is. And it's her currency. My mother's currency was sex.
Yes. Oh my gosh. That's what I always say. That I say it was my mom's hustle. That's how she ended up with my dad.
That's all
They
she
didn't
had.
know each other.
Everything
Yes.
is reduced to that.
Yes.
It was all
Yes.
about sex. If you walked into her home,
100%. Yeah.
She bought a home eventually, but it was like a shrine to herself.
Oh, barf. Yes. Uh-huh.
That was
That was
so
my mom, like a
crazy.
young picture of herself, an older picture of herself. This one picture, I was like, there, there are no pictures of me on here. Not to say that I want them there,
Not one.
but
Yes.
I'm your kid, and there's like not
No,
one.
it was
Come
a
on,
shrine to
man. Like
herself.
our house, like I have a picture of my husband and my grandmother and his grandmother. I have a picture. These two women also saved my life. His mom and me and him. And we have pictures of our kids all over the place, like from every age. My daughter is 31, but I have like this cute little picture from her sliding down the slide at 7, and then like another picture, and then her like spiritual twin, who is youngest, my youngest bonus daughter, all over the place. Our my older bonus daughter, and then my husband's little twin, all over the place. Where they're just all over the place because they're our kids. That's what it's like. But that's
Yeah,
so funny. It's so
yeah,
crazy
yeah,
that we are two totally different people, experience the same childhood in being the only brown one in the family. Then our mothers are like carbon copies.
yeah,
And this is
yeah.
why I think it's so important, because all the abuse that you're talking about, I'm like, of course,
Mhm,
yes.
mhm.
Uh-huh. That makes sense. And really looking back for you now, what did your childhood teach you about love that you had to unlearn?
Oh Lord. We're still there. We're still
Yes.
unlearning. Does it end? Who knows? I don't think so. There are so many adaptations that we have from our mothers. And so
Hmm.
I've spoken about this like on my Instagram quite a lot. We're never allowed to be our authentic self because
Hmm.
we were never given the space to. So we actually don't know who we are. We're
Hmm.
just a series of adaptations, people
Hmm.
pleaser, therapist, the support person, the hypervigilant person, the person that always
Hmm.
gets it. Um, and the person that is not able to be vulnerable. And I think this is really connected to relationships too, because you learn that it's not safe to be vulnerable. If you ever open yourself
Hmm.
up, you're going to be
Hmm.
shamed, punished, or that will be
Hmm.
weaponized against you. So later on, you might have that twisted, thrown back at you, or learn that what you'd said in confidence to her has been shared to all of her friends and family. And
Yes.
so you learn very, very young that it's not safe to be vulnerable.
Hmm.
Then in life, you never feel like you can open up to anybody or trust anybody because
Hmm.
also they do the same thing. You
Hmm.
have this blueprint set of what love is, and to
Hmm.
the mind, and to the body, our nervous system, it's pain and pleasure. And
Hmm.
so
Hmm.
go out into the world
Yep.
starving for love, absolutely starving, but
Hmm.
somehow attracting anybody who
Shitheads.
has
Yes.
the same relational blueprint to
Yes.
your mother because that's all that you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Hmm.
it's crazy because like you're never truly vulnerable with them because you never take your
Right.
walls. There seems
Right.
to be a part of you, and there was definitely a part of me that kind of knew it was going to fuck up,
Yeah.
kind of somehow knew
Yeah.
that as much as this person like was extremely sexually awakening for me and it felt
Hmm. Hmm.
toxic and intense and all of
Hmm.
these things, so intense. And at the same time, there's this part of you that knows that they're probably about to wreck your life. And
Yes. 100%. A hundred
that's what we
percent.
go
That's
and
so
do.
funny.
Yeah. Yeah.
It my grandfather was very much like you describe your grandfather. It was my dad's dad. And he passed away right as my husband and I started dating. And my husband and my grandfather connected on some kind of like spiritual level. I don't know what it was, but it was very like my grandfather was struggling in some way. Nobody else would help him, just my husband, and helped him out of bed, got him to where he needed to go. Just it was a really beautiful thing. And I remember my grandfather was in hospice, and I was the oldest grandchild, and myself and my daughter was the oldest great grandchild. So she and I traveled down to see him, and we both got like 15 minutes with him. Didn't want to spend too much time because he was so tired, and he was, going through the process of dying. And I remember my grandfather, I was sitting with him and just talking to him, getting some wisdom from him, knowing that it probably was going to be one of the last times that I was going to be able to spend with just him. And he said, I'm really glad you came down to see me. I want to talk to you. I need to be really clear. I said, okay, what's up, Grandpa? And he said, don't fuck this up with my husband. He's all, because if I felt like it was kind of like his last, like, I can leave if he's here. She's going to be okay. I'm passing this over.
I love that. I really
And my
do.
husband has been just kind of that rock. And, being vulnerable with him took some time, but he's never abused that vulnerability. I've never had things thrown back in my face. Not this. This is not like that love that I was programmed to have. That chaos, right? And so we talk about like a safety a lot when we're talking about, what does safety feel like? And for me, before, safety felt like chaos. Right?
Yep.
You always had that chaos. You always have to have something going. That always something's going on. But now what safety feels like is that calmness that I never had. To be able to sit on the couch and just chill and relax and us not have to go anywhere. Like we don't have to go, 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 go. It's just, I'm going to chill. Like this is what we're going to do, and have amazing food and do amazing, and watch amazing things. That's something that I don't think that narcissistic abuse survivors really experience.
No, we're put into hypervigilance and we're walking on eggshells, and we
Right.
are anticipating the next rage that's going to come through. We want to make
Yes.
sure we don't trigger that rage,
Right.
but it's a tightrope. It's
Yes.
such a tightrope. So every door that slams, I live alone and I've lived alone for
Mm.
years.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so hypervigilant to sound.
And you like jump. I mean, and that's the thing. I'm very, very blessed to be able to know that, this is our home. Moving furniture used to freak me out because when my parents got divorced, like I think I was about 12, we lost our house. They like spent all the money. It was like crazy. My poor dad had his own mother wound, so he married a narcissist again. So married my mom, married another narcissist, and ended up up north in Oregon. So I'm in California. He was in Oregon, and so my parents lost their house, and so moving furniture triggered me because I always thought, oh my God, we're going to lose something. We're going to have to move. And unfortunately, because the insane price of housing out here, I never bought my own place. But my husband, about 20 years ago, bought his home. And so this is like, I know that this is not going to go anywhere.
Yeah, the security that you have.
That's huge. Or like we were doing this week, we were doing like some home improvement stuff. And I think this is the first time that I've actually like really like it's not rushed. Like we painted our walls to white and did certain things. But I was working on something in our kitchen, and it was the first time that I initiated it and where I finished it. And I was like, come and look at this. Look at it. Look at how amazing it looks. And he's all, this looks really great. I was like, and I don't know, and maybe he can hear me, but I don't know if he understood like what that like it was transformation that was going on, that I was like, I'm going to do this.
It was a corrective experience,
Yes, totally corrective. And that I think is really, really an important thing for women who are going through this. For men that are going through this, is that you have those corrective moments so that the old way of your psychopath mothers, that's gone. It's gone, and you are safe and you are not around them. And I think that for you, what a lot of this is you experience this with the Aboriginal women and girls and boys when you were doing your artwork with them. You've experienced at a very important time for them. And I think some of that is really transformative for you to be able to give people what you so desperately needed as a child.
That's right. That's right. That's absolutely right. And I think you were talking earlier about how your daughter, your eldest daughter,
Hmm.
was your reason to keep
Hmm.
going. And
Hmm.
for me, like I knew that I had a big mission on this planet. I didn't stick around for me. I stuck
Hmm.
around for the mission, right?
Yeah.
You had,
Yep.
it's like we actually still in that period of time can't put ourselves first.
Hmm.
We It
Hmm.
still needs to be for somebody else or for this reason or for this bigger mission. And that really hit me when you said that, because I thought, wow, like we still aren't here like fully for ourselves. The
Hmm.
conditioning is so
Hmm.
strong
Yep.
that everybody else
Is more
is
important. Yeah.
right.
And
Yeah.
I still do it. I still find myself doing it
Yeah.
where I'm like, okay, do the kids, all of the kids, my daughter, my bonus kids, our blended family have everything that they need? Does my husband have everything that he needs? Does my grandmother-in-law who doesn't live with us have everything that she needs? Does my mother-in-law have it? Okay. All right. I can take a breath. And
Yes.
what is it that I need? Okay.
Yeah.
I need to eat. I need nourishment for my body. I need, I need to go out and be physical. I need to go walk. I need love. I need a hug. I need connection, whatever that is. And oftentimes for me, it's just like I said, sitting on the couch right next to my husband, not speaking. Like we cannot speak for hours. And I'm okay. And I know that calm helps.
It does. And I think so much of the journey as well is
Yes.
unlearning these adaptations that we've been conditioned to be. And the amount of times that I've done audits on my life,
Hmm. Hmm.
audits of what friends do I have right now, and
Yes.
really looking closely at the dynamics of these friendships,
Hmm.
because no coincidence, I've been the overgiver, I've been the unpaid therapist,
Hmm.
I've been the support
Hmm.
person, one that always has it together. When
Hmm.
they're in need, I'm
Hmm.
there. I'm the
Hmm.
capable one. Don't ask for
Right.
anything.
Give, give, give.
Give,
Hmm.
give, give. In my mind, I was like, you know what? They're always in crisis, but one day, like, I'm
Right.
sure
They'll be
there will
around.
be crickets, and a lot of it is actually taking responsibility. I somehow set that up. That was
Hmm.
familiar for me. It never required me to be vulnerable, but actually, those dynamics and friendships are draining me, and I can't
Yes.
have them in my life. Another
Yes.
one is looking really closely at like, this friend seems to always be asking me like how much my car was or how I did this.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then he also text me saying, oh, I really like your Instagram post. And so I replied and I said, girl, if you like it, comment. If you
Yeah.
like it on the post.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a click. Just like that.
Right.
It's a click.
But from surveying me online to
Yeah.
then texting me. So you want to stay close to me. You want to
Barf.
learn
Yeah.
from me. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Actually,
I
not
want to
necessarily.
steal it. I want to
Right.
steal it and use it and say that it was all mine.
Yes.
That oh my gosh, it's so interesting because then if you take it a step further, like because like for instance, I'm in a my husband and I have been together for so long, and I remember I was surveying my friendships. I remember looking at them, and I don't really speak about my relationship to anyone because they like will like just destroy it. And my I wasn't it was my ex-best friend. I wasn't calling and talking to her that often just because we were so busy now that I was here, and I wasn't around for her kids. She called me and left a nasty message saying that it was my husband's fault that I wasn't talking to her. And I was like, yeah, no. And then she had the audacity to have her older daughter, who was probably about 9 or 10 there, text message me. and say, I miss you. And I was like, you fucking bitch. Not the little girl, of course,
Yeah, yeah.
but her. I was like, I'm done. I'm not talking to you. I'm through that. Like, don't ever use a child like
No,
that around me.
no.
Don't. Right. And, she's the little girl just said, I really miss you. You're not around, because I was there often because my work was right there. And, I wasn't in a romantic relationship. So I would go there, but then I was doing everything. Right. I was taking care of the kids, was putting the kids to bed, making sure they got, and I was like, I'm not a fucking nanny.
Yeah, yeah,
Right. And
yeah.
so it was, I thought it was really, really interesting. And so tell me a little bit about this work that you've now discovered. You sat down with your business mentor, and I want to hear like what you're
Yeah,
now doing.
thank you. I have a brilliant business mentor, and she was saying to me, Lydia, you have so much knowledge and understanding, and you speak so clearly and eloquently about all of these subjects, of
Hmm.
course, to daughters of narcissistic mothers. And how do you condense like so much healing and learning and understanding?
Hmm.
And I would love to tell you that I don't deal with any of this anymore, but I do,
Every
right?
day. Right.
Every day
Every
I have.
day I look in the mirror. I don't know if you experience this, and then I want to hear more, but I am starting to look more like my mom in my old age. And so for about 3 months, I would get up and I looked in the mirror and I was like, what the fuck?
Mhm.
Like, I can't do this. And I had to work through it. And now I don't see her. I see me. I see me. And that, like, to explain that to someone, like, people
Yeah,
want to look like their parents, like, to explain that to someone, like,
sure.
I was like, okay, I'm going to a space where I'm going to start hating myself. I got to stop this.
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
People just
Absolutely.
don't understand that.
They
Right.
absolutely they totally don't. And in terms of mentorships, like the mentors that I've had in my life, they're always in a place and a position that I'd like to get to. They know
Yes.
things I don't know, right? So
Yes.
mentorship for me is exactly that. It's learning the steps
Mm-hmm.
somebody has gone through and been through and can see where it is the blind spots that you may
Mm-hmm.
not be.
Mm-hmm.
And so for
30,000 foot view. Mm-hmm.
right. So for me, I'm 36 now. I went no contact at 25, which is quite an early age
That's
to do
early. Yeah.
really early. And so I've had this period of time to understand deeply and also to truly undo everything that was never
Mm-hmm.
truly me.
Mm-hmm.
My authentic self
Mm-hmm.
was not present because I wasn't allowed to be my authentic self. And I can tell you, it's years and years and years of meeting yourself, of
Mm-hmm.
taking yourself on dates, of solo travel, which
Yes.
like
Yes.
the number one for me, it always has been. And it's discovering these inner parts of you that are actually so beautiful.
So
And
beautiful. Mm-hmm.
they, they, they were never nurtured and they were never
Mm-hmm.
explored. And
Mm-hmm.
for me, inner child work has been so central to all of this
It's
healing.
so important.
Do it
You know,
every day. Like,
I
I
look
go,
at it like a ball of yarn or a ball of rubber bands, because people talk about it like an onion. And God, if it
yes,
was that easy, I would love
yes,
that, right? Where,
yes.
it's peeling back, but it's not. It is like twisting and untangling and doing all this stuff to just get to that one string that attaches to, your creativity, or, the way you feel about your weight or whatever it is. And it's just constant work.
It
And
is.
it really is work, but it's a real beautiful thing.
It's what an amazing experience to be
Hmm.
with yourself, give yourself time and space to discover that
Hmm.
self,
Hmm.
cultivate such a relationship with yourself. It's a reclamation. And when
Yeah.
I talk about uncovering your true self, uncover is the word because we were never actually able to even
Mm-mm,
discover who we were. So
mm-mm,
when you're
mm-mm.
uncovering it, like I said,
It's
friends.
new.
Right. And it's
Yeah.
like, actually, look at these friendships, they don't actually serve me, and I'm not being myself.
Hmm.
Stepping into visibility, like we are so programmed to not trigger our mother. So let's
Hmm.
play as small as we can.
Yes.
Let's
Yes.
take up space. Let's
Yeah.
keep our mouth shut. Let's
Hmm.
be pretty. but not too pretty, not too
Yep.
pretty that it is her. Let's
Yep.
achieve things, but don't achieve things too much.
Too much. Yeah. Yeah.
It's this tightrope that you've learned to
Constantly.
constantly walk along so you're not triggering her. Actually,
Mhm.
do you know what? Fuck that. I am
Yes. Yes.
going to be
Yes.
exactly who I am. I'm going to take up
Yes.
space. I'm going to have people see me and I'm going to
Hmm.
speak my truth. And if people don't
Yes.
like that, that's okay.
Yeah.
And I'm
It's
no
okay.
longer going to people please. And the people that are right for me will enter my life by me speaking my
Yes.
heart truth. So for
Hmm.
me, it's coming back down to who are you
Yep.
truly and
Yes.
reconnecting yourself and stepping into yourself and being so unapologetic about your voice. That's
Right.
my like I get
Right.
so riled up about this
I
because
love it.
that's the biggest crime that these mothers do to us
Yes.
is
They
just
just whittle you down to
right.
nothing.
Yes, absolutely nothing. Growing up with no self-esteem
Yeah.
and having all of these adaptations. Yes, we might be really good at work. We might be
Yeah.
really good at taking care
Yeah.
of people,
Yeah.
but we've also grown up and not been able to cultivate healthy relationships.
Yes. Yes. And that for me, yeah, I found my husband and I found each other later in my life, later in his life. I was 37 when we started dating, or 30, 37, 38. I think I turned 38, and I'm now 49. We've been married for 4 years and together for almost 12. And that, I look at it and I'm like, I wish I would have met him earlier. In our next lifetime, we're going to meet each other earlier. That's what I always tease him about. But there's still so much more life left.
So much.
So
And
much
you
life.
needed to be that person at that
Yeah.
point too.
Yes.
That you needed
Yes.
to undo everything that you were told.
Yes.
You needed to be that match.
Yes.
And
Yep.
everybody before that was leading you to him. So that
Yes.
I always see that as the blessing.
Yes.
But not to take that away from you. Like
Yeah.
I'm 36. I'm single. I would love to meet somebody. I would love to have kids in the future. But also it's what can happen with us is that we look around and we see other people already in their happy marriages, already
Mhm.
with their partners. And it's so easy to say, oh, what's wrong with me? Why is it not happening for
Yes.
me?
There's nothing wrong with you. Let me be clear, because I know for my daughter, she's turning 31, and you know she probably has in mind what her life is going to look like. And there's nothing wrong with her. She's this beautiful, amazing woman. And when it happens, it happens.
Yeah,
That's what
that's
I mean, I never thought, like, both my husband and I were prepared to just go on it alone. We were
mm,
both prepared to do that, and to experience this kind of love where after you've done your healing, well, for me, most of it, but you've done your healing where you've gotten through where you need to, and meeting each other, right? Because in a relationship, it's live ammo. Like,
mm,
there's no going back. It's
mm.
There's no net to catch you. It is what it is. And I am so incredibly blessed to be able to love this man. And that is a really important thing, to be okay with it. And I also was at the right point in my life where I wasn't like, no, it didn't scare me. And that's okay. It's okay for it to take time. And I think that when you find them, you find them. There's this beautiful book called What Dreams May Come. And it was a movie was there was an adaptation of it, of the book. And it talks about through every lifetime, every lifetime, you find that same person. You find the same people. You have your kids and your family, you have all of those same people. They might not appear in the same way like they are appearing in this lifetime, but they do appear, and they do
And
become a part of who
your
your life
your
is.
soul family, you bring your soul
Yeah.
family. Yeah.
Yeah. And so for me, like, because we definitely, like, I think about my older daughter and my younger bonus daughter, like, they are like, there is 14 years between them, but they're like totally, like, exactly the same
Mm,
in certain ways. And which is why it was so easy when I met her to be like, okay,
Mhm.
I know this, okay, you're a little bit sensitive. That's totally okay. You're sensitive to what you want to eat. You're sensitive to the what like your the fabric that touches you. Totally get it. That's the way my older daughter was. Let's go. Okay, you want me to sit here for 25 minutes and weave this? Okay, we got it. That is, and they're like that. Like they didn't know each other. Immediately they saw each other. We have this cute picture of her, our younger one on our older one's shoulders. Like
Mm.
they had just met each other.
That's so
And
sweet.
so I think that, again, I say in my next lifetime, in our next lifetime, I will find him like as a child. So we can grow up together and get one full lifetime together. That's okay. This lifetime just it's a little bit later. You know, I can't wait to share your work with everyone. So in the show notes, I'm going to put everything you've been talking about, your nonprofit or the work that you do with the Girls on Country. I'm going to put in the work that you're doing now with women, daughters of narcissistic mothers. I'm going to put all that in. I'm going to put in your social media. And I want to hear from you. Um, what really gives you hope
Mm.
when you sit with the survivor or when you sit with yourself when they're in the middle or when you're now in the middle of your journey? What really gives you hope? And what is one thing that you would have wanted to know now back then?
What gives me hope, and one thing that I would have wanted to know, I can
Mhm,
answer it in one question. We have quite incredible minds.
mhm,
We can reprogram ourselves.
mhm,
We can go in and work with that younger version of ourselves that was scared and worried of being abandoned and felt so small and so tiny and is so fearful. We can go back and we can support that younger version of ourselves. And that has ripples through our current reality because we often find ourselves responding to things. Something may come out of my mouth, and I go, that's not
mhm.
that's not 36-year-old Lydia.
Yeah.
Like that,
Yeah.
a very, very young version of myself.
Hmm.
So what does she need? Hello, little Lydia. Love you so much. I'm never going to abandon you. I'm always going to be here. You are my priority. You'll
Hmm.
always be my priority. And this isn't a one-off visualization. It's
It's constant. Just so you
constant.
know, everyone, it's constant.
It's
Like
constant.
it's a constant thing, and that's okay.
You start
And
seeing
on the
some.
days, right.
Right. And if you start, if for an example, for myself, I've just started seeing somebody new. All of a sudden, I'm
Yep.
like hugging him and I'm lying there and I'm like, don't leave me. You're-
Well, what?
That's
What?
not
Did I just
36
say that
year
out
old.
loud? No, just don't listen to that. Just kidding.
Right. So I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, she's worried about being abandoned. I'm
Yeah.
never going to abandon her. I'm
I'm
always
always
going
going
to
to be
be there.
here. Hmm.
So what keeps me so hopeful is that we can reprogram these parts of ourselves. And I'm not
Hmm.
saying it is work, but
Hmm.
that has such ripples through time, space, reality, because
Hmm.
these versions of us, they already live within us. They're already
Yes.
expressing themselves in real time.
Hmm.
And it's up to us to take full responsibility of that, full responsibility of our healing. Yes, my mum did these things to me and
Yeah.
made me that I was, but do you know what? I'm not going to let her win.
No.
I take responsibility
Right.
for me
Hmm.
and my thing, and I can do that now. And until this day, Nolani, she cyber stalks me. She will go and she will Google me, right?
Just so
And
you know, Lydia's mom, you suck. If you're listening to this, you suck, you suck, you suck. There you go. She's gonna start stalking me.
Oh yeah. Your name will be on her emails.
Yeah.
So although got the emails, you got to believe that I will go onto my junk and I will have
Yeah,
abusive.
yeah. It's the same with me. Like I don't have her number saved, but it's like if I go and looked at my junk, there's like text messages and there's phone calls, and I'm like, don't you have
Whoa.
anything better to do? Like, what is the matter with you?
Don't know, no, like when it will end. Like
I know.
it's been a
How do you
year.
have this much energy and you're so old? That's what I have. Like, I want that energy.
Mhm. Yeah. So
Thank you.
my
Oh, I
my
love this.
my message to
Yeah.
all of your listeners is that there is so much that
Mm-hmm.
you can to reprogram your reality.
Mm-hmm.
And our reality is coming from our internal space. And as much as we can work on that and shift it and change it, then that is going to be rippling out to our external reality. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what I'm here to work with people on. It's reclaiming your true self,
Mm-hmm.
uncovering your true self, taking full power and responsibility to make these changes, to
Mm-hmm.
work with your inner child, and to live a life of your wildest dreams. That's what we're here.
Yes. I love it. Anyone in Australia, because I know there's narcissistic moms out there, you're going to have to contact Lydia. We'll have all of our information out here for you to be able to contact her. Lydia, I am so excited that we met each other because our stories are so similar. We're going to have you back on again. Don't worry. This is
Love
not
to.
a single conversation. I'm so excited to get to chat with you some more, to hear about all the amazing work you're doing with all the women that you're going to be helping. And we'll have all that information there. So thank you so much. It was such a pleasure to meet you. And I appreciate you doing this.
With much needed work. And I wish, these podcasts existed so many
Oh,
years
I know.
ago.
I
What
know.
would what
I
would that
know.
have done for us,
I
right?
know. I know. We're doing it now. So thank you. I appreciate you.
Today, you heard about how emotional neglect, shame, and competition from a narcissistic mother can shape your identity, and how healing begins by reclaiming your authentic self. Thank you, Lydia, for sharing your story and for being with us today. Thank you for listening to the Beyond Mommy Dearest podcast. If this episode resonated with you, please subscribe to the podcast, leave a 5-star review, and share it with someone who could use a little hope today. To learn more about coaching, upcoming events, and our growing community, visit the links in the show notes. Until next time, keep choosing yourself, keep healing, and remember, you are worthy of love, peace, and a life beyond survival.
Your skin is a part of your nervous system, and taking care of it is essential to overall balance. Our products are specifically formulated to nourish your skin and bring it closer to homeostasis with every use. Start feeling better in your body today with the Happy Cannabis.